A little bit of a souls, Victoria Amador here, and today I want to talk about dreams. And I think all of you that have been following me, really connecting with my energy throughout the years, know that I love the dream realm. And the reason why is because that is one of the ways that I advance very quickly through my spiritual awakening, evolution, and really awakening some of the DNA potential. So I believe that the dream realm can help us so much to really do things that normally we wouldn't be able to do in the waking hours. So it's almost like using the dream time to advance at a very rapid speed. So I want to go over some of the things that I consider to be truth. I think some of you know as well that a few years ago, I'm not sure how long, it's been a few years, I released a couple of book journals. And why I did that is because my spirit team was nagging me to release this, but I think it was a lot to do with my development and how I saw the dreams to help others. Because after that, I went through so many changes and I ended up creating the dream regression technique. And even though it's not just about dreams, but also nightmares, trance experiences, age regression, past life, room regression, grief therapy, and so many other things in between, the main core of it I created because I love the dream realm. So I'm just going to go over some things, and even as well as some tips as to how I use the dream realm, even the nightmares, to really decipher what my spirit really wants me to pay attention to. So I see it as my spirit really communicating with me at a level that I normally wouldn't be able to comprehend because I'm in my head. But when I'm in the dream realm, I am open to a lot of things that normally I wouldn't be open to. So,
Pressed a Venetian scientist of the last century. But now we realize there's more to it. First of all, the unconscious mind. We can actually see the brain in motion. And we realize that much of the activity is totally unconscious, just like what Freud predicted. And Freud also said there is the ego, the id, and the superego, that we are in a constant battle with our desires and our conscious. And we see that now with brain scans. The ego is basically your prefrontal cortex. That is who you are. When you wonder, where am I anyway? Well, you're right there. You are sitting right behind your forehead. And then your desires. We see the pleasure center right there at the center of the brain. That is the libido. We see where the pleasure center is located. And then your conscience is right behind your eyes. The orbital frontal cortex, right behind your eyes, is where your conscious is. And so we actually see that in motion. If you were to see a chocolate cake, you would see these three parts of the brain going zippity back and forth like a ping pong ball, because you're constantly debating the pleasure of eating a chocolate cake versus how fat you're going to become and all the sugar and the calories that you don't really need. So we see the beginnings of Freudian psychology coming out of brain scans. And now dreams. Freud had a whole collection of interpretation of dreams. Scientists have looked at and said, nonsense. Now we understand the physiology of the dreaming process. And we realize that it comes at the back of the brain, a very primitive part of the brain, and that certain parts of the brain are shut off when you dream. First of all, your prefrontal cortex is basically shut off, it's quiet. Your orbital frontal cortex, that is your conscience, is also shut off. But that part of the brain is your fact checker. The part of the brain that said, that's not right, something's wrong, is right behind your eyes. That's shut off. What is active when you dream is your amygdala. And what does your amygdala govern? Fear and emotions. And so right then you know that when you dream, the active part of the brain is not the fact checker, not the rational brain, it's the emotional brain, the fearful brain that is active when you dream. And then there's some superstition called lucid dreaming, where you can actually control the direction of the dream. Well, that superstition last year became science fact. At the Max Planck Institute in Germany, they were able to show once and for all that lucid dreaming is testable, reproducible, it is real. And here's how they did it. They took a person who was
So I just wanted to show that because I think a couple of things that he said I don't agree with, but everybody has their opinions. And even in science, a lot of people are very divided about the purpose of dreams. Is it needed? Is it real? Is it fake? And for those people that are going through spiritual awakening, we know that the third eye is very, which is what I think he's referring to, the consciousness. No, the consciousness that I'm referring to is beyond this physical body. So when we're dreaming, part of our consciousness, especially if you're doing some other things to retain to allow the crystal fluid to really come fast, and the DMT that is naturally being produced and all of that, when that is happening, we allow the third eye to, and we can have those beyond these physical experiences with different energies, spirit guides, mysterios, our spirit, and so on. So I just wanted you to see this because there is a lot of work being done to figure out the dreams, the science of dreams. And with psychoanalysis, the only thing that I don't agree with is that a lot of the times they're giving interpretations that are based on what has been studied, not what's happening to the person. So just wanted to put this here as well. Also going to reference, I want you to, if you're really into the dream realm, I really want you to check out Carlos Castañeda's books on Don Juan. For those people that are going through spiritual awakening, you really have, I just assume that people know that. If you don't know who Carlos Castañeda is, if you don't know who Don Juan is, I really believe that you should check that out. Don Juan was a Yaqui Indian sorcerer, and he was just, like a very powerful shaman, an old style, powerful shaman that was able to do things and teach Carlos Castañeda things that I don't think anybody else would have been able to. So, if you're really serious about your spiritual awakening, spiritual evolution, dreams, nightmares, understanding non-organic beings, and everything in between, I really believe that you can find some answers with some of Carlos Castañeda's books. So anyways, let's get started with the dreams. And just for the sake of this conversation, I really just want you to think about the dream realm as a separate, but at the same time, link to this reality. So even though it's a separate reality, that can be really explored with a lot of intention and awareness, because I think a lot of us, when we are really awakening and we're really becoming very good at what we're doing, we can be very lucid, very intentional and aware in the dream state, so that we're really advancing a little faster than normal. And even in 21 divisions, a lot of people that you probably listen to, they're going to tell you that they had so many experiences with the different luases, with the different mysteries in the dream state. So this is not something that is something to take lightly. This is something that, if you're really serious about advancing as a spiritual being, you really need to start paying a lot of attention to your dreams. And it's not something for some people that comes naturally. So you're really going to have to use a lot of time to contemplate in the morning, to go back and try to pick what is it that I worked through in my dream last night. What did I feel? What was happening? And really start doing that, even if it's only 5 minutes at the beginning. Eventually, the more you do it, the more easier it becomes, and the faster you're going to be able to pull those answers. And the more you do that, the easier it's going to be for you to become very lucid and aware. So one of the things that I always teach my clients is that they need to set an intention, just like I always preach, set an intention before you meditate. I also set an intention before I go to sleep. And that intention has been like something that I have been able to master throughout the years, to really pull things and do things that are very advanced. So I will say my first tip is to always put an intention before you go to sleep. One main intention, even if it's to rest. Today, I really want to recharge my energy and wake up feeling refreshed. That is a basic intention. But let's say you're going into your spiritual awakening and you're doing a lot of things. You can even put an intention to, tonight I want my spirit, I want you, my spirit, to show me something that is hidden so deep within my subconscious that I want to be able to really dive deep into it so that I can become aware of it and let it show you. Or it could be something as, let's say you worry about one of your children and you don't know what's going on with them. And you can go into your dream state and ask, please, my spirit, show me, my spirit and my spirit team, please show me what is going on with my child, whatever the day. And you are going to receive answers. And you can also say, please show me what's going on with my child and how can I best support my child, so that you are really not just pulling the answer, but part of the solution as well. So the more that you do this, the easier it's going to become. So another thing that I do is that when I wake up in the morning, I don't move, I don't do anything until I don't check the phone, I don't do anything until I go through the dream. And when I do that, at the beginning, I remember years and years ago when I was doing this, I would only remember, at first I wouldn't remember much. If, you know, maybe one thing. And then, unless it was something very intense, normally if it's a regular dream, you don't remember much. So you will have to train yourself little by little, pick what is there, the feelings, the metaphors, the symbols, and so on. And the more that you do this, the better you're gonna get. So anyway, so the dreams, put the intention, wake up in the morning, go through your dream, find the feelings, find the metaphors, the symbols, any animals that were there, any spirit guides, anything that's caught your attention, and start journaling. You have to really start journaling. Now, one thing to know is that the dreams, a lot of the dreams, especially if they're very meaningful, they don't think they're not passive. Normally, they are active experiences, right? So when you have an active dream that is driving, and like you can feel an emotion, you can feel energy to it, or even if you don't feel any energy because it's so boring, there is always something to teach us about who we are. So, you know, really consider that dreams are not just things that we do and they don't mean anything, because dreams really are a door to the subconscious, to other realities, to parallel reality, to past lives, to the spirit realm. There are it's basically a door, a gateway to our conscious realm, because we are a whole universe within us. So when we really understand the value of dreams and nightmares for the matter, we can really pay the respect that it needs to be paid in order for us to really take it seriously and start working in the dream state. And to work in the dream state, one of the things that, you know, I remember reading from the Carlos Castañeda's book is that in order for you to become
I found this on the web.
Oh, wow. Okay, that was weird. In order for you to become a very lucid dreamer, you have to practice. It's not something that is going to come out of nowhere, but that you really have to spend time doing the work, practicing what it feels like when you are in the dream state, and how little things in the dreams are going to point towards the significance of how it relates to this life here in this physical realm, or how it's affecting your life in general, or if it is affecting your life, or if it is teachings for what's to come. So really being in control and being able to manipulate what happens and how you react in the dream, it is something that is going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. So with that in mind, some of the things that we also learn with Carlos Castañeda and Don Juan and other, including other psychologists that have been studying dreams and doing a lot of research with dreams, is the importance of navigate, like the dreams not only have the metaphors that are very powerful, and that the metaphors are just the beginning piece, because we are all so individual, like so different, that what a butterfly means to you may mean something different to me. When I am naked in public in a dream, it's going to be very different to me than to you for what that means. But in reality, there is also an overall like we can call it like theme that is going to be like, okay, when we are outside in public, and normally that you have the public, you have being naked, and also the shame, because a lot of people are right, like there is a lot of shame of being seen, exposed like that, because everything is being shown. So if that is related to shame, and that is the archetype for the dream that is about being naked or doing something private in public, like urine, pooping, or something like that, or even having sex or something like that. What does that mean to you, though? It's different than just allowing someone to psychoanalyze you. What I'm talking about when we do dream regression and we really go deep into the dream is, what does it mean to you, regardless of what it means in psychology. I'm sorry, I went to the side for 1 second because I wanted to make that clear. Just the metaphor, just because it's something that you can find online, doesn't mean that that is exactly what it means for you, is what I'm saying. So, sometimes you have a dream with 555, 333, or birds, or some type of animal, or you being chased, or you're doing something that is not okay, like not accepted. Those are things that are going to be general. But when we start doing deeper work with your dreams, and you start going deeper into really going through the dream to analyze it for yourself and feel what you need to feel for yourself, a lot of the time it's going to be different than even someone that has a similar dream that has a completely different life. So you cannot just go based on what you find on Google or YouTube for what it means. You really have to start contemplating, meditating, reflecting on your life to see the correlation. Sometimes an energy, a mystery, a lua, spirit guide is going to come to someone. It's the same energy. It's going to come to perhaps you, and it's going to teach you something that is going to be so different than somebody else. And that's why some of these things that we do with these mysteries, with these energies, are secrets, because what they tell you how to do it is going to depend on your level of consciousness. What is the goal? What is the objective? How long it's going to take, and so on. So it is the same thing for the dreams. When we have a dream, even when we have similar dreams, doesn't mean that it's going to be the same answer for everybody. So becoming really lucid in your dream, and then pulling those feelings and metaphors and symbols and situations are going to be crucial for you in order for you to advance in the dream state. So in the dream state, we can find not only repressed emotions from this life. I was talking to a client that is a psychiatrist, and I was asking, because I'm fascinated by the dreams. So I'm thinking like, oh, maybe they really study a lot of dreams and nightmares. And she's like, no, the only thing that we learn is how to give medication, because we don't learn how to help the client decipher those things to release them. And I was like, I almost puke, because I was like, what? Like, and they do see a lot of people that are suffering from recurring dreams and nightmares that are so intense that don't let people sleep. And what they do is that they give the medication so that the amygdala, the flight and flight response, comes down and doesn't get activated when they sleep. So not only they're suppressing the part of the spirit that is saying, hello, we need to work on this, but it gets the medicine that then has side effects on other parts of the brain. So it's like, it was so confusing to me to hear that in medicine, these people are not being trained to do this type of work. It's like, so we just, somebody has issues with nightmares, they go to the psychiatrist or psychologist. If they make it to the psychiatrist, they're going to get medicine. If they make it to the psychologist, you will be lucky if you have someone that has done a lot of dream analysis work to be able to help you pull out the answers. But when we do dream regression and nightmare regression, it is going straight to the answers, to the reasons why for you, not because this is what I learned based on Sigmund Freud and his versions of psychology and so on. So anyways, I just get really passionate about this because I just don't understand how this is happening. So when we are getting to the dream realm and we're finding that we can go, the amygdala is getting activated, the flight and fight response. Why does that happen though? Because we have so much trauma in childhood and in other experiences that the spirit, part of the spirit is saying, we need to work on this. So it's going to give it to you in the dream state so that then you can be aware of it, so that then you can be like, okay, I need to, it's trying to do work that it couldn't do when it was in past traumas. But because we jump out and we get afraid, we stop doing the work, which is why eventually they make it to seeking help, because some of the dreams are repeating, or they're so intense that they need help to figure it out, right? So in the dreams, in that dream realm, we can go to previous experiences in this life that we need to work through. We can go and play out situations, play out relationship patterns and dynamics in the dream realm so that we can feel better, understand better, expand our consciousness. But sometimes we don't get all of that because we don't understand what the dreams are trying to tell us, because we haven't been doing the work to understand. So going through age regression, we can also go in the dream realm and experience rebirthing, depending on what's happening with you. You can experience communication issues, as well as experience what it means to have spirit communication. Not only the issues with things that show up that are like just trying to F with you, but things, energies that are trying to give you messages to support you in your journey. So, and besides that, we can also go to past life, other lives, and in between lives, and everything in between. So in the dream realm, it's almost like you're open to unlimited possibilities, because the soul is able to tap into all the other versions and the possibilities of who we are in this life and other lives. So it's almost like opening up this huge, completely unlimited consciousness universe for you to see what I need to work on tonight. And depending on what happened on the day, it can also go through that level of, okay, this is what happened today. You go work through it in the dreams, and then you start disconnecting from this reality. So eventually you make it to one of the REM cycles and so on. And then you are in another universe or another reality. You're like, what is going on? And it's because you already worked through what happened in the day, this week, anything that is still very present in your mind. Eventually, the deeper you go into the dream, the deeper you go into the other possibilities. And that's where your spirit is trying to show you, this is what we need to work, or this is what you're training on. If you're going to mystery school, if you're learning to communicate with your spirit team, with your spirit, your higher self, and so on. So it's like having the sky wide open. And what is it that is going to come up today? If you're not putting an intention, being very disciplined with your dream, what would I call it? With your dream habits, then you could just be like, anything can come. But the more that you're doing this to get better, to feel better, to heal, to release, to activate your DNA, to learn how to communicate with your spirit team and so on, the faster you can advance. So this is very fascinating. I love the spirit realm. I think it's one of the shortcuts that we can take properly that can advance our journey at such a level that is like mind-blowing. So when I started having a lot of dreams with different spirit energies, or even my own spirit team and my own spirit, and also the attacks that I experienced, it was all part of the journey to be able to go deeper with some of these things and know how to deal with them. I wouldn't have learned that unless I went through it, right? So even when it is very intense and disturbing, it has so much benefit to knowing how to work with some of these things. So working with the dream realm is definitely just a fascination to me. So what can I offer you besides like making sure that you have an intention, that you go over your dreams in the morning, that you are learning to see yourself in the dream, aware? One of the things that I did for a while is that I will notice in the dream, I will try to see the correlation between, especially like if I change the bed spread, I will make sure that I remember the color of the bed spread or the if it had any design patterns, because in the dreams you could see the pattern, and if you see that pattern, you can quickly see the correlation, and you can be like, okay, I am in a dream, and this is something important right now that is happening. So training your spirit, and how I did that a lot of the time was by waking up in the middle of the dream, making a note so I wouldn't forget, and then going back to sleep and visualizing what I just had in my dream to go back into the same dream. That takes training, though. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 1 week or a month. But the more that you do it, the easier it gets, so that you can snap out of the dream, make a note, and come back to the dream until you are able to sustain the whole dream until the morning to journal about it. So just another way to do it, right? So what else I want to share with you is a lot of the things that we're going to find in the dream realm is going to have to do with non-organic beings or disembodied energies or lost souls. And a lot of the people, when they are dreaming and they are experiencing a lot of chaos, or they are not sure where they are, they might be still in the astral plane without knowing, like, where do I go from here? Or they might be tapping into what's happening to the community, to neighbors and so on, because they're learning to tap into that space that is close to them physically. But you could do this with people that are even across in another planet or another continent or another country or another state. So it doesn't have to be physically, but some people start with the physical because, okay, what is happening in my community? What is the energy in my community like in the dream realm? And you can do that. So if you want to start training on that, you can put an intention. I want to feel what is the energy of this community like, and let it come. So in the morning, you're going to pull that answer by going through your dream and meditating before you do anything else. Or you can also work with, for example, if you have a business, you can go into your dream state and understand what is the energy, where is the energy of my business stock? What would I need to do to move that energy so that energy can flow in my business? Or if you have a relationship that is feeling a little off, show me, help me understand what is happening in this relationship, whether it is romantic, friendship, parents, siblings, or in friends and work colleagues and so on. So using your dream state to pull answers, to start working with your spirit. This is about communicating with your spirit and letting your spirit show you the way and guide the way, so that you're letting your spirit be the driving force so that you are really in tune with your spirit and working simultaneously with your spirit, so that there is trust between the two of you. So when you ask the questions, you don't have to wait 2 hours to receive the answer. You can simply close your eyes eventually and receive those answers. But at the beginning, you might have to do it in the dream state, because you're nodding your mind thinking, oh no, this is me making it up. In the dream state, it's going to come, and you're going to be able to be open to receive it, because your thinking mind is not saying, oh, you're lying, you're making this up, right? So you start with the dream state, and eventually the connection with your spirit in the waking life is going to get stronger and stronger, so that if you have a question, you can quickly just go through that question and feel your body and feel that answer, or even hear the answer and see the outcome. It's a beautiful way to start that relationship with your spirit, with your inner higher spirit, whatever you want to call it, your higher self, and so on. So another thing that I do to integrate some of the dreams is to really start asking for things that I don't have the answers to. So, I remember when I was when somebody wanted an answer, whether it was through divination or something like that, and I would feel like the cards or what was coming through wasn't going to be enough. So I might go in, if I want a deeper answer than just what the cards and what I'm going to feel in that moment or whatever, or if I feel like I'm going to be in the middle of the day and it's too much going on, I might want to pull that answer at 5 a.m. instead, and go into this quietness and ask myself to have my spirit reveal what is the most important thing that this person needs from whatever, if you're going to be doing divination, or if you're going to be doing life coaching, if you're going to do a session, it doesn't matter. Whatever it may be, you can ask that question and receive that answer. So, I can ask for, let's say, client David. Okay, I want my spirit to, of course, you will only ask if the person already had given you permission, right? Because otherwise you're just intruding. But let's say David has already given permission, and I can go in and say, I want you, my spirit, to help me understand what is going on with David. And then you have to remove all of your expectations. You have to let go of anything that you know about David, if you do know anything already, and wait for those answers. And that is going to give you information and a deep knowingness that might not be revealed any other way. So working this way with your spirit, direct communication, starts little by little, but you can get to the point where you're doing divination without any tools. You're just channeling your spirit, and you're just letting your spirit be the driving force. So the more that you do that in the daily waking life and in the dream, the more advanced you become, so that you can really do the same thing even in the dreams. In the dream, sometimes you may be running from something or towards something. You can stop in that moment and ask, separate yourself from that version of you in that dream, and ask, what is happening right now? Why is this important for myself as so-and-so? And you're going to be able to receive the answers the more you do this. I know this is very advanced, but I just want, for some people that are listening to this, I know they're going to understand, they're going to be already there or even more advanced. And some people are going to have to work to get there. So whether you are at the beginning, the middle, or the end, or towards the, I don't think there is an end, but towards the end of being advanced, what happens in the dreams can be so magical that not only you can be doing work on yourself, but you can also be doing healing work to help others heal, whether it is family, friends, and so on, even people that you don't even know sometimes, because energetically we're connected to people sometimes that we don't even know. But they might be part of our soul group, and you might be working on someone that you have no idea who it is. So, or you might be training in the mystery schools to be able to do work that is not possible to do in this reality without that training first. So I think I'm going to leave it here for now. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.